Well, hello there, everyone. Here to show you the Honey May Kiss coloring activity right here. And basically, if most of us know and understand a little bit about romance, it is. And basically, talking about is like that you have right here. If it's for two couples or anybody that may wonder about, or it could be like what you call for you say for gay relations or anything like that. But knowing about is that with most of the time though, when we actually kiss somebody, knowing about that what I went ahead and do right here with this this couple right here is basically that you got right here is the man and then the woman it is. And of course, it kind of reminds me of that song. Like, don't know who sings. It's like, so we'll go, I want to marry her or something like that. And but on the other hand, and knowing about besides like say of a song, no, basically talking about is like for the Honey May Kiss is knowing about that a lot of times anybody like I kept wondering though that from whenever I experienced my first kiss. And anybody that may wonder though, are you going to experience it, just by what you call, like, yeah, that knowing about whenever that right or wrong time, of course, is to be falling in love with that somebody special. It is, but the way I went ahead and drew this right here, I'll go ahead and right here, I went ahead and drew like here's a couple like if they were in a heart or something like that. And anybody that may wonder though that working right here with the crayon, I was thinking about doing this a little bit with marker too, and if I were to be working some of this maybe on Photoshop, but I'm like, yeah, that I don't have too many examples of too much of Photoshop work, but tell anybody that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that more likely, I'm like, that can be maybe found later on on a other site, more likely that if anybody were to check out my work at that let you know about that. But on the hand and knowing about right here is you have right here is these two couples, and usually right here it's like a red, I think. This is this is red. I was thinking about it looks like a red, unless if it's like maybe a tan maroon type color. But on the other hand, and knowing about that you have right here is red right here, and right here is this couple right here, and usually that if anybody were to think about, I'm like with most of the time with like with Valentine's Day, and I know that Valentine's Day, of course, that comes next year, and that knowing about, say, with the Valentine heart, that knowing about that one part, say, of one side of the heart that more likely forms a shape, I guess, knowing about to a part to say of the relationship it is. And anybody that may wonder though that a lot of times that one thing that more likely that they may still remember about the relationship, or if it's the kindship or anything like that, I'm knowing about go ahead and use the little bit of Jazzberry Jam right here, and work a little on the heart. But it's like with the whole story about relationships, and I can tell anybody here that I keep wondering though that that time moment, knowing about, I'm like, yeah, what's it like to kiss somebody besides on the cheek and then on the hand or something like that. But on the other hand, and knowing about, anybody may think about, yeah, it's all about what you call exchanging slobber, exchanging germs. But I tell you one thing, anybody that may wonder though that I'm like the whole part about romance is knowing about that you may see it in those movies, is knowing about that whenever a guy and a lady, whenever they see each other and then spend so much time together, it is, and like what you see on those movies too, where that after maybe a few moments from the time in the movie is that basically that they actually form, I guess, I don't know if you call it a trusted relationship, but they form like a relationship between the man and the woman, and they kind of get to know each other, and they do stuff together, and then they come to that moment to where that they actually hug and kiss, and in a lot of ways though that I've talk about it's like for any type of romantic story, and I tell you one thing, I'm like not doing too many dates. I haven't really been on too many dates, but let's just say that with most of the time, anybody that may wonder though if anybody has dated a couple of times, and I talk about between kisses and dates. If you're going to be dating somebody, that a lot of times we wonder though is like, what's the difference between a date and then of course a kiss, or if it's anything that's maybe dinner or anything else like that. But all about, it's like the whole purpose about Honey May Kiss though is that you got a detail right here. I went ahead and drew right here. It's for these couples and knowing about with these two couples right here that I can go ahead and draw right here. It's like anybody think about, like, you draw the couples right there, and then the lady's gonna kind of look at it like, can I have some privacy? But on the other hand, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that forget a room, but you got right here's the guy and then the lady. I'm like, so if they start kissing, it's like, get a room, why don't you? But anyway, but you have right here is these couples right here, and with these couples that I put a little pink right there, for that, for what I did, say with working with pencil, and anybody that may wonder though that I'm like, if I want to go ahead and work right here with work the hair a little bit, maybe with the red, and then see here if I maybe just use a little bit of pencil for the lips or something like that. I might do some. And anybody that may wonder though, I actually call these lollipop prints. And like anybody probably think about the type of lollipop prints, I usually call these right here lollipop prints. And anybody may wonder though that, well, why do you call it? I'm like, well, I guess I got my reasons, knowing about it's a type of print that it's basically a print that after you are kissed by that somebody special, knowing about that's like what you call, if they were wearing that type of, this will be like for a man, and then this will right here be like, for a woman. And basically the woman would wear lipstick, I guess, and leave the print on the guy's cheek or something like that. And then I guess you can call it, the men will leave, like, say, like a cologne, type on the lady's cheek or something like that. And knowing about, somewhere more likely that they, kiss them, or if they, what you call hold hands. I'm like, anybody might wonder about, like, whenever you hold hands also. I'm knowing about the type of a feeling that you have to where if basically anybody may wonder though that kisses a lot of times happen where a moment to where you don't want to forget it. But anyway, like with anybody that may wonder though, I tend to wonder though that whenever a man kisses a woman, or when a woman kisses a man, and knowing about is like that haven't come that far in my experience, and knowing about I've hugged ladies, and I have hugged friends of mine, but never came to that point to where kisses, like talking about the Honey May Kiss. And anybody that may wonder though that can you really make up a kiss, and knowing about this kind of reminds me of one of those Dairy Queen commercials, but like tasty. But anyway, but talking about is like you say for the Honey May Kiss, and knowing about how couples fall in love. And then I went ahead and used right here. I can go ahead and use a little bit marker too. I'm like, I can tell anybody that knowing about if you're going to be working with these different art stencil, like if it's permanent markers or crayons, that I know that one only has so much ink also. But anyway, I can go ahead and see here, grab anybody may wonder though that if I were to be working something like this in Photoshop, that more likely I would probably have a little bit more variety of choices, say in colors. But on the hand, that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that talking about, it's like if I were to be get on the computer and actually showing you, and then knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that and then all I know is, and I know I'm busy doing other things too, but the way I think about, I'm like, yeah, with anybody that wants to know, I'm like, a little bit what I had to say is knowing about, I'm like, yeah, I go ahead and submit, go ahead and let me know your feedback, which like whichever that you think, like if you want to know about but what I think about this and what I think about that. But anyway, for the guy though, and I'll go ahead and use right here, there's a little bit of the brown right here. But anyway, since I added some color to that right there, it's starting to kind of look like maybe like a couple right there. And I'm like, yeah, maybe add a little bit of blue right there. I'm like, anybody may wonder though that, you know, whatever color that matches, of course, with this couple right here. Knowing about if it's blue, both have like a, see here, go ahead and blue green right here. Go ahead and draw this right here. I'm not trying to make it look like Barbie and Ken, but on your hand and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that. Go ahead and add a little bit of color right here. It's like based on, say, for the woman, you know, for the lady. And but anyway, two guys, if it's going to be two couples that are kissing. I'm like, I'm not really talking. I'm like, it could be maybe a, you know, gay relationship or any type of a relationship. But on the hand, that knowing about is like that with this couple's relationship and knowing about, you know, two, like if you, it represents like, you know, for together. But I'll go ahead and add right here. I think just use a little bit of blue right here for the arm for the guy. It's like if his arm were to be wrapping around. It's like you know, the proper ways of how to hold you know, like have a good feeling, you know, for the, you know, for your spouse, you know, for the person that you're with, and knowing about, like, yeah, if it's going to be dancing or anything like that, and if it goes by like, you know, side by side and then side by side. But on the hand, and knowing about you have right there is you got the couple right there, and obviously the Valentine heart, and like you say the love, you say the romantic love heart, and then right here I went ahead and do some examples right here of some lips, and this right here will be like I went ahead and drew this right here is like for the guy's lip. And anybody that, I'm like, at the time Warner though, that a lot of times it's like, you know, whenever a man and a woman fall in love, and reminds me of a lot of songs, but it's like whenever they fall in love and then whenever they kiss, it's like knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that like with anybody that may say that that whenever you kiss, it is knowing about that it seems like a lot of times that having, you know, from my first experience, and then other guys and gals, you know, first experience and knowing about whenever they first kiss, and I can tell anybody here that you know, from whenever I was 17, that I really never experienced that first feeling of knowing about. I'm like, yeah, that you know, if you would rather maybe have a kiss or a hug or an autograph, whichever it is, and anybody maybe the one, and I'm like, yeah, well, I tell you one thing, that you know, if you want to be kissed by any celebrity, maybe on the cheek or maybe on the arm or something like that, I just keep thinking about that. You know, whenever I do run into that type of experience and knowing about, I keep thinking, know that, yeah, that a woman like you see it on those TV shows to where ladies kiss the guys, and then more likely that you know, that after the first time, and it's going to be the second time, and then the third time, and knowing about, I'm like, you know, I don't need all those lollipop prints, of course, on my on my face or somewhere like that. Anyway, I wonder about that. You know, whenever ladies put on lipstick, I know about. I keep wondering, know that whenever you hear like what you call to, but on the hand, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that talk about, you know, whenever. If a lady or a man were to be so in love, it is knowing about, would the lips get bigger? Would the lips get bigger if they really want to reach up and kiss or anything like that? Like, it kind of reminds me of one of those cartoon TV shows. It is, but anyway, there you have it. It's talking about, it's like for the Honey May Kiss, you say activity. Basically talking about Honey May Kiss is knowing about, I'm like, whenever a couple does fall in love, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that knowing about, you know, you just got to put your lips together, like, you know, you just got to put your lips together, knowing about whenever it's that right time, and knowing about, yeah, that, you know, when do you know whenever you fall in love, it is, and knowing about, like, you know, none of our accounts, that knowing about if you have, you know, that, you know, particular person in mind, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that, you know, talk about, it's like whenever a couple fall in love, and anybody that may wonder though also that when a couple fall in love, it's like, say, between this, like along with the teddy bear, I'm like talking about, Mike, yeah, whenever we kiss each other, knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that, I don't know, you know, kissing the teddy, like talk about, you know, Mr. Teddy, or if it's like Miss Teddy or something like that, I knowing about whenever you kiss, you say from lip to lip, you know, the proper way of how to kiss, it's like, you know, from lip to lip, and anybody probably think about like poo, like you know, I don't, you know, it's all about, it's like, yeah, that the whole purpose about, you know, it's like if it's exchanging germs, you know, part of your germs, or it's like, you know, part of, you know, it's like sometimes, like, you know, for put your lips together. Mwah. Like talk about, like, yeah, the proper ways of how to kiss, and anybody that may wonder though, I might talk, I say the honey may kiss, and knowing about, yeah, you just really have to have yourself a partner. But on your hand and too, you know, it's like, so far as, you know, for good audience, but other than that, like talking about right here, that's how I say for honey may kiss. And anybody that may wonder though about, you know, about to say a purpose about, you know, Mr. Teddy here, knowing about, it's like you have right here is like rubbing, like talking about, like I can tell you what, like, I'll talk about love. But on your hand and knowing about is that you have right here, it's like for the honey may kiss. And anybody that may wonder though, if you're, you know, if that, you'll be, you'd be walking somewhere, and then the next thing you know, you fall in love with, you know, that somebody special, knowing about, it's like you put the hands on top, like around the shoulders like this, and knowing about them like that proper time, or on your hand and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, whenever people kiss, and a lot of times, you know, by the time I'm like, yeah, does it usually mean, you know, on the cheek, or does it usually mean on the lips? But on the hand and knowing about anybody they think about, I'm like, yeah, the stuff that you more likely you would see on one of those movies, and I like talking about, Mike, you know, get a room. But on your hand and knowing about the whole purpose about that, you know, whenever couples, if it's romance or anything like that, exactly, by talking about it, that you know, half the time, why is it that maybe kisses and stuff is usually the last part of what you see, knowing about that, yeah, if it's what you call, you know, maybe you know, rub each other, say on the face, or if it's, you know, maybe a pat on the head, you know, something like that, or maybe side by side. I'm talking about right here, it's how you hold each other in the arm. It's like side by side, unless it's side by side. But on the hand and knowing about, you know, with most of the time with most couples though, if like talking about if you're a honey may kiss, and all, I'm like, you know, like talking about like maybe a tablespoon of honey would make me feel happy. But on the hand and knowing about, I'm like, so far as like honey, like I wonder like how much we have to work with. But on the hand and knowing about, like, you know, the whole purpose about stories about maybe how couples fall in love, and anybody between, like talking about between you love it or say, oh, I hate it. But on the hand and knowing about is like the whole purpose about knowing about, yeah, that you know, for a whole part about romantic kiss, and like talking about is like for whenever that happens, and knowing about that, at least that, you know, we are together, like so far as knowing about, like, no matter what we has, like we know about it, and the most important is we say is that we all were is for together, and all about, and we're all for this together, and all of like for so far as together. But on the hand and knowing about, anybody may wonder about, all I talk about if we were to actually kiss it, knowing about really does it mean from the lip to lip, or does it mean by what you call, well, on the hand and knowing about anybody that may wonder though, that yeah, that it's all about exchanging germs, it's all about exchanging slobbers, it's all about what you call the imprint on the lips. It's like you just put your lips together, like, you know, just put your lip together and kiss me. While it's like so far as hey, I can, you, would you want to kiss me? But on the hand and knowing about anybody that may wonder though, the whole part about maybe the right or wrong way of how to kiss somebody, and knowing about, you know, a kiss to remember exactly about between hugs and kisses, and knowing about, you know, the ones, I guess the best moments about whenever we fall in love, and knowing about is this what you call is that special touch. I don't know if it's, you know, what you call the secret touch, but that special touch, and knowing about it's just that some part, let's say, I guess a part about from time, knowing about something more likely that I never forget, knowing about, yeah, if it's raining outside, you know, whatever, whichever that's going on outside. If it's raining outside, a lot of commotion going on, and just knowing about that really. But there's something about this romantic story that just seems to where it's like there's some type of connection. There's that, what you call that special connection, knowing about. It's like if it's between a handshake and a hug and then a dance. And then talking about is a whole part about what you call is like for the honeymaid kiss. Say the honeymaid kiss. You say talk about that. Is that start coloring. It's like talking meanings. That say the honeymaid kiss.